Let's talk about the Chiefs' upcoming game against the Chargers and some key updates. First, Travis Kelce is healthy, and that's huge news, especially since Chargers safety Derwin James is suspended. Last season, Kelce had an impressive 12 catches for 179 yards and a touchdown against the Chargers, making him a key player to watch. There have been a few roster changes worth mentioning. The Chiefs waived running back Keon Ingram and added Kareem Hunt to the active roster. Ingram cleared waivers and rejoined the practice squad. Tight end Jody Fortson is back on the practice squad too, replacing Baylor Cupp, who is on the injured list. Fortson's familiarity with the Chiefs' system makes this an easy decision, even if he won't see much playing time right now. Currently, the Chiefs have only 52 active players on the 53-man roster, so there's room for one more. This could mean we see Clyde Edwards-Helaire back on the active roster soon. He's been on the NFI list for the first 4 weeks, but could return after the game against the Chargers. That's just a guess for now. We'll find out for sure next week. Defensive end Mike Dana is out with a calf injury. Coach Andy Reid said the team wants to give him time to heal. His absence could mean a chance for Cam Thomas, who the Chiefs recently traded for. The 6 feet 4 inches, 267-pound pass rusher had 3 sacks during Arizona's preseason and played in every game his rookie season. He's versatile and can play inside as well, making him a good replacement for Dana. The Chiefs' defensive line needs to step up in this game. Although they're 5th in blitz rate, they're only 26th in pressure rate, which is far from ideal. When Charles Omenihu returns, likely after the bye week in November, the defensive line should get a boost. For now, they need to improve their pressure on the quarterback. One area where Mike Dana will be missed is in run defense. He's been the highest-graded run defender for the Chiefs, according to Pro Football Focus, PFF. The Chargers rely heavily on their run game, ranking 7th in the league with an average of 152 rushing yards per game. Running back J.K. Dobbins is especially dangerous, leading the league in yards per carry among players with 25 or more attempts, with an average of 7.4 yards. The good news? The Chiefs' run defense has been solid, holding star running backs to low yardage. In Week 1, they held Derrick Henry to 46 yards. In Week 2, they limited Zach Moss to 34 yards. And in Week 3, they stopped Bijan Robinson with just 31 yards. If the Chiefs can keep up this level of play, they should be able to contain the Chargers' run game. Overall, one of the keys to winning this game will be how well the Chiefs can stop the Chargers' rushing attack. With Jim Harbaugh and Greg Roman leading their offense, the Chargers rely heavily on a strong run game and solid defense. The Chargers' offense is currently dealing with some significant injuries. Quarterback Justin Herbert is nursing a high ankle sprain, which worsened last week against the Steelers, forcing him to sit out in the second half. While Herbert is eager to play against division rival Kansas City, it would be wise for him to rest, especially since the Chargers have a bye next week. This would give him extra time to recover and prevent further complications. The Chargers might also decide to sit Herbert because both of their starting tackles are out. Right tackle Joe Al is sidelined with an MCL sprain, and left tackle Rashawn Slater is dealing with a pec strain. Another tackle, Trey Pipkins, has been struggling with a foot injury. Although he might play, he won't be at full strength. With an injury-depleted offensive line, putting Herbert out there could increase the risk of worsening his condition. Taylor Heineke is next in line to start at quarterback if Herbert doesn't play. The offensive line injuries will likely impact the Chargers' ability to run the ball effectively. The Chiefs' defense needs to be on alert, especially when it comes to guarding the middle of the field and keeping an eye on the Chargers' tight ends, Will Dissly and Hayden Hurst. Kansas City has had trouble defending against tight ends this season, so this will be a critical area to focus on. Although the Chargers haven't been explosive in the passing game, wide receiver Quentin Johnston has shown improvement this season, and they also have second-round pick Ladd McConkey as a target. That said, I'm confident in the Chiefs' secondary, led by Trent McDuffie, to handle the Chargers' offense, especially given their current injury issues. The Chiefs' defense has been solid in the red zone, ranking 13th in the NFL at stopping opponents from scoring touchdowns. The Chargers, on the other hand, have struggled to convert in the red zone, ranking 24th with a touchdown rate of just 42%. Meanwhile, Kansas City's offense has also had issues, ranking 22nd in red zone efficiency and converting only 35% of their third downs, far below their usual standards. Despite these struggles, the Chiefs are still 6th in the NFL in points per game, averaging 25 points. If Mahomes can clean up some minor issues, like his throwing mechanics and timing, Kansas City could easily increase their scoring average. There have been some drops and breakdowns on the offensive line, particularly on the left side, which have affected Mahomes' rhythm. However, Wanya Morris did a decent job filling in last week against Atlanta, and if he can hold his ground against Khalil Mack, Mahomes should have enough time to make plays. The Chargers' defense will be without their star safety Derwin James, who is suspended for this game after a helmet-to-helmet hit last week. This is a big loss for the Chargers, as James typically matches up against Travis Kelce. Kelce has historically performed well against the Chargers, and without James, he might have another standout game. The Chargers still have some talented players in the secondary like Asante Samuel Jr., Christian Fulton, Elijah Molden, and Denzel Perryman. Even though Derwin James is out, these players have been reliable in coverage. So, while the Chiefs shouldn't underestimate the Chargers' defense, there is an opportunity for Kelce and the other Chiefs receivers to shine. One thing to remember, the Chargers' defense has allowed the sixth fewest yards per game and is ranked second in red zone defense and third in scoring defense, allowing only 11 points per game on average. However, it's important to note that these stats came against weaker offenses led by Gardner Minshew, Bryce Young, and Justin Fields. The Steelers have an outstanding defense, but it's worth noting that their strong defensive stats are partly due to the weak offenses they've faced so far this season. The Panthers and Steelers have some of the worst offenses in the league, while the Raiders are slightly better but still middle of the pack. Because of this, the Chargers' defensive stats may be a bit inflated, and this upcoming game against the Chiefs will be their first real test against a much stronger offense. I'm also curious to see what the Chiefs' strategy will be at running back, especially with Isaiah Pacheco now on IR. Kareem Hunt was recently signed to the 53-man roster, and Carson Steele and Samaje Perine are also in the mix. Hunt mentioned in his press conference earlier this week that he's ready to shock the world on Sunday. However, since he's only been with the team for a little over a week, I expect him to rotate in sparingly. Most of the carries will likely go to Carson Steele and Perine. Still, it's a situation worth monitoring as the game progresses. If the Chiefs can play disciplined football, establish the run, and convert their opportunities in the red zone, they should be in good shape to win this game. Given the Chargers' extensive injury list, I don't see how the Chiefs can lose if they avoid mistakes. The Chargers have gone 3-17 against the Chiefs since 2014 and have lost 10 straight home games to them. Combine that with the fact that most analysts are predicting a Chiefs win, and it shouldn't be a trap game for Kansas City. I'm predicting the Chiefs will win comfortably, 24-14, but considering Kansas City's track record, it's possible this game could come down to a few points in the final minutes. Before wrapping up, let's review the final injury report, which is especially critical for the Chargers. For the Chiefs, Nick Bolton, back, Derek Nottie, tricep, and Rashee Rice, ankle, were all full participants in practice this week and should be good to go. Jalen Watson's shoulder injury is something to keep an eye on, but he's also been a full participant, so I'm not too concerned. The most notable injury for the Chiefs is Mike Dana, who is dealing with a calf issue. He didn't participate in Thursday's practice, tried to give it a go during Friday's walkthrough, but Coach Andy Reid ruled him out. This means rookie defensive end Felix Anudike-Uzomah will get significant reps. We saw some flashes from him in preseason, and with the Chargers' backup tackles in play, it'll be interesting to see if Anudike-Uzomah can make an impact. Now, as for the Chargers, their injury list is extensive. Joe Al, their right tackle, is questionable with an MCL sprain. Joey Bosa is officially out with a hip injury, as is linebacker Junior Colson. Wide receiver Darius Davis, who also serves as the team's returner, is questionable with a hamstring injury. Cornerback Christian Fulton, knee, was upgraded to full participation on Friday, so he will likely play. Justin Herbert, dealing with a high ankle sprain, is listed as questionable. This will be a game-time decision, and the Chargers will likely keep it under wraps to force the Chiefs to prepare for either Herbert or Taylor Heineke. Other notable injuries for the Chargers include Dean Leonard hamstring and Jair Taylor fibula, both listed as questionable. Starting left tackle Rashawn Slater is officially out, which is a significant loss. With Joey Bosa and Rashawn Slater sidelined and several other key players banged up, the Chargers are in a tough spot. The Chargers are dealing with a lot of injuries and will be desperate to win this game. A loss would drop them to 2-2, putting them a couple of games behind the Chiefs in the standings before their bye week. Despite their efforts to battle through these setbacks, I'm sticking with my prediction. Chiefs win. Let me know your thoughts on all these injuries and your score prediction in the comments below. Until next time, go Chiefs.